Music. Y'all talk music. Because we got to talk about Marv against Quest.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's really
I don't want to see neither one.
Yeah, I mean, they're boys, so that's a hard one. I didn't even see it. They just did something recent?
It hasn't happened yet, but they getting ready.
Oh, they getting ready to? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess Dean can come in and chime in on that.
I said, hey, yo. Ain't that what they be saying? Talk to him. Talk to him, Shaka.
I definitely gonna watch it because they're my dudes.
He knocked already. We supposed to be going.
I know. But y'all started talking about battle rap.
Hey.
Drew me right in. Actually, I don't watch it as much as I should anymore.
You know that's one of the reasons I married my wife, right?
She's in the battle rap?
No. Like that. No, we was dating.
Like watching it.
We was dating, and I was watching, one of the battles, and she was like, "I watch battle rap," and then she was like, at first I thought she was corny because she mentioned like Cannabis battling Disaster, like, yeah, I remember Cannabis pulled out his notepad. I'm like, everybody.
Is she too young for Cannabis?
Yeah, but then. We was watching, I think it was like Arsenal versus somebody, and she was just like catching every bar, like, ooh. She was like, ooh. Then she was frowning her face up. You know how you do that, like, ooh. And I was like, oh, you really listening to him. So yeah, that was just something else we had in common, other than dancing.
Welcome. I am Jonnita Stanton. We have Reginald Perryman, Kashka Williams. We are TSARE, and this is a There Something About Real Estate podcast where we talk all things real estate and battle rap.
Right.
Battle rap. I should have left that whole section there so people from Detroit could have. It's like we could have got promo off of this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's still in there. Ain't nobody.
I'm about to say, I can hit Marv and Quest right now.
Yeah, you probably
let me. Quest will be like, ja.
Oh, they supposed to pay for this. They supposed to pay us to get on here.
Right.
No, it's all good. Show love, where. Because you like clean paper, right?
I do.
Yeah.
But I'm from Pontiac, so JC and Ill is my favorite battle rappers by far.
Okay.
It ain't even close. I don't even care about nobody else. And then Clean, he just something happened to him. I don't know what he doing right now.
Yeah.
But he still was one of the most skilled ever. You know what I'm saying?
JC fell off to me a little bit, but he came back. I think he deserved better battles, though.
I think that he just battles so often.
Yeah.
It's hard, you know what I mean? Because I think he one of the people that battle as a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
His
like
pen game type, though.
All right. The focus. Are we in a bubble? Is a bubble a myth? What is a bubble?
Sure, at the top of the market, it's going to burst at some point in time.
Yeah, it's something that's created by other factors other than the housing market too, though.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
The overall economy.
Correct.
Like, it's to the point where everything is so inflated, it's got to bust at some point in time. Like, slow this machine down.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like we have some similarities to the bubble.
Right.
But there are some key indicators that let us know that it's not necessarily a bubble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think some of the indicators are? I can tell you mine, but what do you think?
Say it.
So for me, the biggest thing is demand.
Yep.
Right.
Or supply. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Supply and demand. So in the previous, when we did have a bubble,
right,
the supply, it was a lot of houses,
right,
for sale. You know what I mean? Yep. So and the demand was less. Then right now, there's not enough homes for everybody.
Right.
That's one key indicator that makes me believe that we're not necessarily in a bubble. It's similar though, you know what I mean? The other thing is, back in that bubble, man, we talked about this before, right. Anybody could buy a house. You know what I mean? Stated, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that the loans are more tightly underwritten now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you really got to have credit scores. You really got to have a job. You really got to have bank statements. If you're self-employed, you got to have P&Ls. All these different things that they weren't asking for back in, the early 2000s.
Well, remember, some of the stuff is going away because some of it was just COVID protocol, too.
No, I don't think so. I think that it's going to be here to stay. I think there's give me an example.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a fact.
Like
that,
what?
So like your P&Ls matching your bank statement, that was strictly due to COVID. Like that's gone now.
Yeah, but some lenders were still requiring certain things still that didn't go away. That were there before then too.
But I'm just saying, like, be cautious.
We're talking about in comparison to the bubble. So what I'm saying is, all right, I hear you. So what she's saying is, so when COVID happened, a lot of lenders were asking for P&Ls, right?
Yeah, or their minimum credit score went from 620 to 640. Yeah. And now they're back down. Some of them are back down to 620, like she said.
Mm-hmm. But all the other factors are still there. Like you're not coming in here with being bogus and getting a loan. Like you're not somebody. If you don't qualify for a house, guess what? You're not getting a house.
Right.
You have to qualify for a house now to purchase a house. So back then you didn't have to do that. So you had people back then that didn't even straw buyers. You know you're not gonna see straw buyers no more. Right. You know what I mean? There's not enough money in there to even be a straw buyer.
I think it's enough money to be a straw buyer. However, they're doing those credit checks now that are preventing straw buyers from that being a thing anymore.
Agree.
Right.
So and a straw buyer being an individual who wasn't really going to own they on paper owned the house, but they weren't going to actually have control of the house.
They was buying it for somebody else.
Yeah, and pulling the equity out.
Yeah.
It's illegal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
mortgage fraud at its finest.
But so those are two big things, and then what's another one? So the other
interest rates. Maybe.
You think interest rates?
I don't think interest rates.
Because I guess right now we're seeing a switch. So like I feel like we're literally right now living in whatever is getting ready to happen. So like a year ago when we were having this conversation, it was much different because like we said before, we were kind of plateauing and we were thinking that the interest rates were getting ready to get past that 5% right before pandemic hit.
Right.
And then what ended up happening, the Feds didn't increase and, interest rates actually went down when they were probably projected to go up, causing softening and plateauing. And, now that's just now getting ready to start.
So I agree with the interest rates in this sense. I don't think overall, but so back then you had the subprime, you had the ARMs. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you don't I haven't seen an ARM loan in forever.
One of my buyers just got one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, most of the people just did it.
Yeah, most of the people getting ARMs now, back then, the people that were getting ARMs didn't really understand them. Mm-hmm. Or they were being sold on the fact that once it adjusts, you can refinance. Mm-hmm. People were selling that. Now, somebody that's getting an ARM is probably a little bit more sophisticated, and they're intentionally getting an ARM.
And they have to be,
Yeah.
You don't think that people back in 2005 was getting an ARM intentionally?
Yeah, some of them were, but some of them didn't really know. They just knew that this is going to be my payment, and once the rate goes from 6%, the introductory rate, to 9%, my loan rep told me I can refinance it back down to 6.5% or whatever, to a fixed rate. That was being sold on people back then. So I agree with you. That created a bubble. Always look at the bubble like a balloon. Mm-hmm. How much hot air you going to blow in this before it busts, right? And all of that was hot air. Now, the buyers we got, they got money, right? So that's why we're seeing them pay above appraised value, pay above asking price. They're not borrowing this money to do that. This is their own personal money.
They're vested.
That's the one thing that I feel like is like a real thing, because I'm like, I hear everything that you're saying. I don't necessarily disagree, but my question, I just be kind of like, to me, the 640 buyer is the same as the 585 buyer. And then on top of that, I'm talking to good lenders that are saying that they're doing 560s and 570s. And like, I haven't experienced it personally, But I think that the people that I'm talking to are experts in their field, and I don't think that they're lying about it.
Well, what are you saying?
But see, I don't. So here's the thing: the 560, 580, because a lot of lenders do say minimum 580.
580
right?
ain't the 640 buyer. Them two different people.
No, I'm saying in 2022, the 640 buyer is the same person that was buying a house with a 585 in 2005.
I don't agree.
Well, no, I don't agree with that neither.
Yeah,
but I will say this though, right? The lenders I know, if they do a 580, it comes with so many additional requirements. Because,
a lot of money.
So here's the reality, right? If I've been renting for $1,100 a month, paying on time, and I buy a house and I'm paying $900 a month, I can pay on time, right? Because I got $200 cushion for maintenance and things of that. And in theory, let's just say in theory, right? That makes sense whether my credit score is 580 or 640, right? So credit score is a reflection of my ability to pay everybody. But if I'm paying my housing expenses on time, some lenders are looking at other factors than just that credit score. So at 580, how much do you have in reserves? So they may take a higher risk with somebody with a 700 plus credit score. 580, you're not getting that.
You're not getting approved.
Not getting that grace.
DU approved.
No,
Yeah,
you can get
automatic.
approved,
You're not getting
but you gotta have
approval.
all your own money. You're not getting.
Yeah.
You're not getting all the down payment assistance. You got to bring all the skin to the game. Is what I'm saying. Before, when we were in the actual bubble, oh, you breathing, you 580?
Boom.
Just sign the paper.
Yes.
So
that's why I
the
said it's different. Yes.
Right.
That's why I'm saying it's different. So the 580 back then was, you could have 580 stated income. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now the 640 borrower now still has to have all these other documents or proof of income, reserves,
Right.
Payment history, all these, been on the job for literally 24 months, you know what I mean? All these different things that the 580 borrower didn't have to have back in 2000 and the early 2000s. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why I don't think that they're the same. But I hear what you're saying. But they're not the same because that literally the 580 borrower, like he said, was that's the straw buyer. You know, now you didn't want to go with a 580. You wanted to try to. No, but I'm saying the 580.
Normally the straw buyer had the better credit score, the better job history, the reserves. Like they were a person that's just like, yeah, give me this money. And yeah, you can use my credit.
No, because straw buyers were anybody that could be approved for a house that you can get money. And typically, so sometimes there were people that, so I agree, there were people at 700 because that made it supposedly easier, even though it wasn't, if you understood the programs back then. So I know somebody would say that 700 was an easier approval than a 580, but it literally was not. You know what I'm saying? Because back then we didn't have automated underwriting. You know what I'm saying? So it was all manual. So as long as you fit within the criteria of those, whatever their program was, it didn't matter if their criteria, you were going to get approved. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally could just check off everything. Oh, you 580 or above? Oh, you got 580, you good. It didn't say nothing about reserves. It didn't have nothing about some of the requirements that we have right now.
So basically, the difference is that there's more protections in place to get people qualified that actually should qualify for a home. And there's more safeguards to say this person is likely to buy this home and they're low risk based on their financials, right?
That's why we got less. That's why we got less foreclosure.
You said low risk. A lot of people who are buying a house, FHA, they have insurance for that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we're talking about a bubble. Before there was the safeguards wasn't there, so that blew more air into the market, into the balloon. Now there's more safeguards to say, okay, this person is a higher risk, but we require more. Before it was like, okay, you 700, you got everything you need, we gonna give you way more house.
Minimum requirements.
But if you got the minimum requirements, we still gonna give you a house. You know, or the people that could qualify then can't qualify for the same thing.
So you're saying
they wouldn't get a house.
You saying that 52% debt to income on FHA, it doesn't happen right now?
No, what I'm saying is
that doesn't make you an unqualified borrower.
I didn't say it doesn't make you. He was talking about safeguards and saying that they wouldn't. It would.
So what he's saying is a 580 borrower then would not qualify for a house right now. Period. So they would not because you got to get automatically underwritten, automated underwriting, whatever they call it, right? DU underwriting, right?
So here's the thing. So I'm gonna give you some real life examples, right? We have buyers that come and be like, "Oh, you need 2 years tax returns." Well, I don't file taxes. All right. Well, I got somebody that can do your tax returns for you. They would just make up something, right? And then bring it back. Nobody was double checking, fact checking, verifying with the IRS. This was the
was not being executed.
So now if you say you filed your taxes, they want to verify with the IRS that this was filed and that you paid the tax liability on what was owed, right? And so the requirements are different. There's still air being pushed into that balloon now, but it's nothing like what it was before.
I don't even feel like there's no air. Because
it's a little bit of air in there because
there's people that qualify that I feel like are qualified that definitely would have qualified back then.
Yeah.
That just will not qualify right now.
It's still a small percentage, like you said. It's people with high income to debt ratio. The difference is back then they would just get moved through and get the house. Now, if they're high income to debt ratio, low credit score, they can't get all the assistance. They have to have their own money. They probably can't get concessions. Like some lenders will say, yeah, you qualify, but you can't get seller concessions. Yeah, you qualify, but you can't get MSHDA.
That's big right there.
Yeah, the MSHDA is big.
No, I'm talking about the seller concessions is big because you used to be able to pay for every damn thing.
Yeah, before people was getting seller concessions, they was getting MSHDA, they was getting cash back. Everything, just buy a house because we need to keep this wheel spinning. That's what I'm saying. It's still a little bit of air, but nothing like 90% of it was air last time.
Yeah.
This one probably like
10%.
5%.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't even feel like it's that much.
That's why I say it's
What
not a bubble.
are the experts saying? Have y'all done any research? What are the experts saying?
Experts saying what I'm saying because we the experts.
That's right. Facts. No, but I did do some research. So just like in anything, this is not factually based. So we are experts, basically, because we are.
What did you say earlier? These are just our opinion. We just realtors with an opinion.
No, I'm
expert.
I'm a
real estate expert, right? Yeah.
Like I tell the news what to say.
But because you got experts saying they're on different sides. Like in anything, you know what I mean? Some people believe A, some people believe B. But I think the facts of the supply and the demand, like there's a lot of demand for housing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's one huge thing right there. The fact that people are actually the tighter, lending practices now, that's huge. Those are two. I think that's enough to let you know that you're not necessarily in a bubble now, because those two things right there would prevent that. That doesn't mean that the market won't soften.
True.
But it's not going to collapse like it did.
But the tighter lending criteria has been in effect for like at least a decade, right?
Correct.
So over the past 2 years with these 20% and 30% growths in different areas throughout the U.S.
Supply, though. So supply back then, everybody could. I mean,
we keep talking about growth, right? So let me give my opinion.
Supply and demand.
All right.
Supply and demand.
So when you look at stock market for good stocks, you look at housing market from 60 years ago, 40 years ago, you see it go like this. If you start from the beginning to here, it's going to go like that. You can draw a line. But in between that, you're going to see it do like this, right? Whatever camera, you're going to see it do like this. And the market crash, it was like this. And now we're back up to like this, but it shot up, right?
Yeah.
So really, we're still on that same path. We are where we would have been right now if the market hadn't crashed and we just had slow appreciation every year after year. We would have been right here anyway. So that's why I don't see it as a bubble. You always going to let some air out. Like it's going to flatten. Maybe we don't increase by 10 or 15%. We increase by 2%. You know what I'm saying? We start increasing by 3%. We go back to the average appreciation.
Let's talk about
so
go ahead.
that's why I said for the market to crash, in my opinion, you got to have several things. You got to have an oversupply of housing,
which we don't.
maybe like 6 months or more of inventory on the market, meaning it's going to take at least 6 months to absorb all the properties based on. Right now, in some areas, you may have 2 months worth, but in most of our areas, you may have 3 weeks worth of inventory, right? My seller called me, his house was on the market 10 days, and he's like, I don't got no offers. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now we got 2 offers,
right?
But still, so you have to have an oversupply inventory, which probably like 4 to 6 months or more of inventory. You have to have interest rates, which we're seeing increase, unemployment. So all of those have to happen around the same time. But then the unemployment really have to be large enough to have an impact. Because when people say, oh, unemployment increase, it's going to impact the housing market. Well, factor in how many of them people that got laid off or was unemployed were actually in the housing market.
Yeah.
Because a percentage of them were renters. They're not impacting the buy and sell portion. The homeowner that loses their job in this market, they're likely to sell before it even becomes a foreclosure. So that takes the foreclosure craze
that's what I was
off the
say.
table.
That's what I want to say. Because I'm going to say this, and then you can finish.
Yep.
So back then, foreclosures was happening still at a high rate because the people that was getting in there were only getting it. They didn't have anything invested.
Right.
Now you don't have that. These people are not about to just walk away from the $40,000-$50,000 in additional money that they put down on this house.
Right.
Go ahead.
Or they not gonna walk away from the fact that they paid $180 for it and now it's worth $270. Like, if I lost my job and I got $90,000 in equity in my home, I might stay there a couple months if I can't afford the mortgage, and then I'm gonna sell it and I'm gonna take my $90,000 and start over, and I'm gonna work somewhere until I can find a better paying job. But I got $90,000 to hold me over, right, and start over. So the unemployment rate has to be so ridiculous high at the same time as all of those. It has to be the perfect storm. So we will see a slowdown and increase in market value, but we're not going to see a slowdown. We're not going to see a bust of the bubble. And the other thing we have to pay attention to, I hate when the media says, oh, home sales are down. That sounds like, oh, it's negative,
propaganda.
Right? No, it's propaganda too. But when they say home sales are down, that doesn't mean values are down. That means the number of units sold is down.
Not so that doesn't on the market, right?
So if last year 20 homes in your neighborhood sold for $350 to $380, then $350 to $380, you had 20 homes sell. But this year, only 10 sold in your neighborhood this month. Between $370 to $390, our home sales down. No, only inventory 10 people decided to sell their house.
And the other thing, I just feel like coming out of the recession and having all those foreclosures, just not as many vacancies. Like the areas are being developed.
Yep.
The areas are being populated. You have people who have just moved in these houses over like the last 5 to 10 years.
Right.
And so I think that's also contributing to there not being like inventory because people just are not ready to move right now.
Right. And then builders aren't overbuilding right now. Like we got the lowest building numbers we had in decades in the past like 8 to 10 years. They scared and they don't want to overbuild and get caught out there, especially with rates creep and costs of materials and everything. But it's just so many factors. I just don't see this as a bubble. I just see this as we're catching up to what we were supposed to have.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Piggybacking. So builders used to like, hey, keep on building, right?
Yep.
They didn't even have people buying houses. You might have like 5, 10 houses in that subdivision that had nobody in there.
Yep.
You know, now you got a backlog on building a house.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Pre-selling.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's the difference.
And I got one builder. They lock you into buying, but they have like a clause in there like they can adjust the price by a percentage because of labor and material costs.
People have been like super annoyed by that, and like the explaining the cost of material, like I feel like a lot of the public are just kind of like, it's bullshit that you don't know the price. And it's kind of like, well, no, it's not really bullshit.
Right. I'm going to tell you something that really literally happened. Swear to God.
Right.
So I gave a bid on a build out. The build out in Nova, I gave a bid in January. The material costs increased 3 times by the time that she actually decided to move forward with the build out.
Right.
We are in April.
Yep.
Yeah, so late March, early April.
Right.
Literally 3 times. Swear to God. I was like, this is crazy. So, I got the takeoff. It took it to the lumber yard to get the pricing on the takeoff.
Right.
In January, it came back. In March, when I seen it, I thought it was a mistake. I was like, man, what the hell you did? You know what I mean? Like, you messing up my... And I had to go back to her, and, it just is what it is. The prices literally increased 3 times.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And then it's so crazy, like, some of the people who were not buying over, like, let's say before December, looking at houses between like August and January, and then they were not bidding or wanting to compete or wanting to do any of the appraisal guarantees because it was just like, oh, the houses are not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay, had you bought in that time frame, your values would be significantly still, on an increase.
If it's not worth it, what is?
Right.
Exactly.
Like literally,
that's my question.
Yeah.
If the house in Farmington that you was gonna pay $290 for is not worth it, what is worth $290?
I'm gonna elaborate.
That's the question you gotta ask yourself.
That's a fact. I'm gonna elaborate too. So people want to know, why did the material increase by 3? How didn't they know that the material was going to increase by that much?
Right.
It's because they ordered. So previously, we were purchasing material that they previously purchased at a lower dollar amount.
Right.
So now that material is gone. Now they purchase this new material at the higher dollar amount.
Yeah.
So that's why.
I got an HVAC guy. He gave me a bid on replacing the furnace and coils and all that stuff. And he said, this bid only good for 72 hours because after that, in 3 days,
you can't even find it. You can't even find it.
Yeah.
You can't even find I mean, literally, like, there's certain things that you can't find. Paint. You can't find paint right now. You cannot find, like, this. We use a certain paint. I'm not telling everybody what it is.
Right.
But,
none of y'all business.
We can't even get it. Like, for real.
Right.
Like, I went to Sherwin-Williams the other day. They had 2 5-gallons left in the whole. First of all, I'm talking about in, like, what?
I need touch-ups.
Right. I mean, factually.
Do you need it or do you want it?
No, she needed.
Okay.
But no, for real, they only had 2 5-gallons. He wouldn't even sell me both of them. I was like, all right, give me both of them. He was like, no, I can't do
You
that.
should just send me back.
I was like, yeah, I should have sent somebody else, but you wouldn't have got my pricing. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing. But you get what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's tough. He was like, this is gold and it's for real. We went to like 8 Sherwin-Williams to find this paint. They didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to keep that in mind. But
So I was doing a little bit of research on this topic and listening to. So I chose to stick with what's Robert Shiller, the Nobel Prize winning economist.
Right.
And
What Robert said? I'm going to tell you.
the stuff
you
that I
tell
was
me
watching-
what that Robert said. I'm going to tell you what Kiyosaki said.
I liked. So the stuff that I was watching, I liked that they showed what he said like 11 months ago. Because we kind of fill in some of the things, but then on another video, they kind of came back and like debunked it a little bit. Kind of basically like, it's great to see what he's saying. He's been right a lot, but it's, he's not necessarily going to be right per se. Like, so I liked, what they had to say. Y'all should just Google,
can you like give us a little bit? I didn't.
No, I'm going to give a little
Put the
bit.
link on our.
So basically, about 11 or 12 months ago, he just basically was like, we are increasing. But I like the analogy. So he didn't take it to like the last, like 2008 recession. He went back to the 40s and the Depression, and basically saying, like people are kind of like victory spending. So it's like after the pandemic, being let out of quarantine and being happy about that. You know, so it's a lot of spending due to that. And shoot, I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you're saying like we talked about the pandemic, right? So it's like people were locked down. So some people are spending emotionally. Some people are really spending because during that time you save money like never before, and now you putting that money back in the market. And like we said on one of the episodes, there was government money pushed into the economy, which stimulated, you know what I'm saying, more spending. So, but you did all of this, but the supply is short. So you have people that had these huge gains. Maybe people start getting in the stock market when it was down because everybody was fearful and started selling off. But then you have people come in like, oh, I'm going to buy GameStop. And then they made $20,000 the next day. Now they back out here, oh, I'm going to bid $10,000 over because I just made, you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense.
Like
but it's still your money though. So that's why I don't agree with it all the way. But I hear it.
You don't agree with what? There was no point made.
No, but he did. He said that it was basically happy spending. Is what he's saying. So I don't necessarily agree with that because I feel like it's necessary spending because people need houses.
Right.
You need housing. So yeah, it's not. I don't think that. So
but some of the things that are increasing. So like it's the appraisal guarantees. I never thought. I honestly, when I started, you know, like 36 months ago, when this started becoming a thing, but it wasn't really a thing yet, I just knew that buyers were going to like shoot, like there's no way that people are going to.
But you can't because it's a need. It's like water, like you know what I'm saying, or fluid.
Well,
you know,
what I'm saying is,
you need it.
Had it been nipped in the bud, it wouldn't have been a thing.
You can't nip it in the bud. If you need somewhere to stay, if you got to live somewhere, you got a house that if you don't have somewhere to live right now. Right, or if you're spending a certain amount of money in rent, and in order to in order to get the house that I need, I got to spend a little bit additional or a lot of bit additional for that. I have to do it. It's a need based on the supply.
But you know before there was a need, I just thought that this was just never going to be something that survived. Because had it not survived and people was just bidding regular, then you know more people would be getting houses.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying?
A lesser price.
But no, because they
would be.
So here's the problem. The supply of houses, we don't have enough houses for everybody that needs a house.
So I had to bring this up too. So you're absolutely right and you're right? It is victory spending and all of that. And the market, we can't control the market. So the government might try to intervene and raise rates and all this, but demand is still demand. Canada, I don't know if y'all seen the article, and this just reminded me, they were putting a 2-year ban on foreign buyers. Like if you're a foreigner, you can't come in and just buy real estate there. Like a 2-year ban. So it's like...
That's one of the things that they were talking about, the government or the feds coming in and basically controlling the market from the back end. So that, you know, certain things. So they were just basically saying that, it may not necessarily be a bubble, something that's going to just necessarily pop, and then we're going to end up, you know, back down in a recession.
Why don't the government build more houses?
They were saying, what will happen if the feds decide to come in, or if the government decide to pass laws that say you can't foreclose. So that'll
make it worse.
I'll answer your question.
But what I'm saying is, it'll end up being like the same thing that we were just talking about. So, you know, a person falls on hardship. I bought this house. I paid X amount of dollars for it. Right. But now the government have come in and say you can't foreclose for this amount of time.
Who's going to loan money?
Yeah.
Now you'll crash the economy because who going to loan money? How you going to make interest on something that's going to accumulate from indefinitely? You know what I'm saying? It's like
you won't even. Everybody are losing that.
A person wouldn't have a reason to sell. So if I never have to sell my house because you don't foreclose, then it's really not going to be any supply. Because somebody will move in a house, stay there a year, pay their payments, and just stop.
Like these renters was doing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And a lot of people are saying that too. Like a reason why the supply is lower is because of the eviction ban. That's one of the
Facts.
But it was low
portion.
before that.
That's a portion, but it's also
it
low because of
contribute to
the
it.
amount of
Yeah.
houses being built. We were behind, so we got behind once the recession happened. We got behind the amount of houses that's needed. So it doesn't matter. So even if all the houses, all the people that are behind on their rent or mortgages, so let's say all the foreclosures happen and all the evictions happen, we still gonna be behind. How many? We behind like something like 4
Millions, like 4 or 5 million.
Yeah, houses.
I forgot the number.
It's crazy. It's not even realistic to catch up. Like it's not something you can do quick. You know what I mean? And to answer your question about why won't the government build houses, for the same reason that the city doesn't get involved in selling houses that they take back in taxes, right?
Yeah, some of them do.
No, they put them on
land
the.
banks.
Well, they put them on land bank. They let you bid on them,
Right.
But they don't sell them at what they could consider market value,
Right.
Because they're not in the business of selling houses, and that would be like
That's why
a
they should
conflict
give
of
them.
interest.
That's why they should give them to realtors. Well, they're starting to, and they have been, but they should have turned that over to professionals to liquidate. And you go to other cities and they think we crazy as hell. You got all these houses the city own, but then we got a shortage of housing, but you won't let people buy them. Then you won't let investors buy them. Then you won't let the buyers that want to buy them because they don't qualify. Then they got to go through all this to buy it. In the meantime, the house is going to shit, and you got
So I agree with you, though.
too much
You know,
red tape.
because you know how many people was buying houses and just sitting on the house and not doing nothing with it. That doesn't help.
And I agree with the stipulations behind it. But what I'm saying is, let's say the average person in Detroit can qualify to buy, 150. They were going to buy $175,000 home. But then I see this home over here. It needs renovation. Now they have loans for you to do that, but I got to go through this loan process, or I can just go over here, buy it, and close in 40 days. You see what I'm saying? Which one I'm going to do? So it's like, but if you take this entity out of it and just say these are stipulations, go get your loan and buy the house and close in 40 days, then start your renovation, you good. But the process in itself is so demanding and drooling for the average person.
It should be.
It's like, no, I think the qualification should be strong. It should be tight. But what I'm saying, the process from beginning to closing, like, why does it take? Okay, once you qualify me, I have the funds, I have the availability to buy it, right? I gotta wait on city council to meet for you to approve the sale.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I get with that. I agree with that.
This is what I'm saying. So
But they got to look at it because listen, people. So back when you used to be able to buy houses easily on the auction, when everybody didn't know about the damn auction, right? You had
Right.
people buying all the damn houses up from everybody else.
Yeah.
And then
they sit on them,
sitting on them,
blighted,
and the whole point,
and they end up back on the tax sale.
so that defeats the purpose for the city. The city needs tax money because that's how they operate.
I get that. I'm not saying that the program is wrong, but what I'm saying is the process could be streamlined to make it more attractive to the people that qualify. It's people that qualify to buy them, but they don't want to touch it because they can go over here and buy a house from a wholesaler, right? Or they can buy a house that's on the general market. I qualify for both, but I want to put my family in a house. I don't want to wait until you approve me. Then city council got to approve this batch of sales, and they don't meet until next month or 2 months from now.
Then you don't want to get a deal.
And
you
then-
don't want that sweat equity.
but what I'm saying is, yes, I do, but there's a demand out here and there's a shortage. I'm either going to wait on this or I can get out here in the game and find me
So you feel
something.
like that. So I know that process sucks. It's not the best,
Right.
but it needs, because humans need to actually look at the actual process. And then
Right.
city council is only so many humans, and they only work so many hours, only get paid so much money. So,
But that's why they need a third party to handle the process.
So then that fee
And
gonna
then-
get split. Then that fee gonna go to you, to the buyer. Is the buyer gonna be willing to pay that fee?
Yeah, if they getting a house at what 20% less than market value, yeah.
I would,
stuff.
because the stuff that's on land bank right now is garbage.
No, I'm not saying okay, so the quality of house, I'm talking about, okay, I can get a Detroit home mortgage or whatever program. I can buy the house. They're loaning me the money to fix it up, right? I'm going in this program knowing that I'm buying a house in its as-is state. I'm going to fix it up to my liking. And at the end of the day, I'm going to have an equal quality home to what's out here on the retail market.
With some equity,
Fine.
most likely, right?
I qualify for it. I show I qualify for it. I got the funds. I meet all the stipulations and requirements. But then I got to wait first to find out if I got it. Then I got to wait for whatever government entity. I'm not just talking about Detroit Land Bank. There's other cities and states that do something similar. I got to go through all of this and it's worth it to some people.
I feel like it's
But
worth
what
it.
I'm saying is, we don't want some people. We're trying to solve a issue with low demand high demand and low supply. So if you make this process easier, the government don't necessarily have to build more houses when you already got houses that's there.
So here's the issue.
And the process from the time it goes to foreclosure and tax sale and this and that, and then it ends up on the land bank, you talking 4 to 5 years, sometimes longer, and then they got to research title, then they got to do this. You looking at 6 years on a house that's set vacant. And you know what happens
6 years to do what?
Dog.
Man, they wait, water damage.
Listen, no,
it
hold on.
deteriorates,
Hold on.
the bricks be
No,
falling
no,
off.
so-
Okay,
no.
You know what happens to it? Oh,
No, you haven't
no,
seen
no.
enough. All right, listen.
I thought you meant.
I can pull the sheet and show you houses. The person vacated the house 3 years ago. They lost it to tax sale. The county still has to wait for that time period to foreclose on it. But all this time it's been vacant. Roof leaking, whatever's going on in the house, tree growing out the basement, whatever. So 3 years. Then the city, they get it, and then they say, okay, we're going to put this in land bank, or we're going to put this in tax auction or whatever. Then the land bank or whoever get it, or state land bank, whatever government entity, now they have to do their due diligence. I'm not saying none of this is wrong. I'm saying the time frame. A house, somebody can leave their house, foreclose on it, and we're talking another 3 to 5 years before that house is available to the general public, depending on which route it takes.
You talking about somebody that foreclosed on it for taxes?
Tax. I'm talking about for tax. I'm not talking bank.
And then
But-
making it to the land bank.
Yeah,
And
making it
being
to the
back for sale and
making
you're
it through
being
the
approved.
land bank and being back available for the market to say, hey, I want to buy this house at this price.
Because that's the law, though. So the first 3 years you can't get past.
But this is what I'm saying is, once it get past we can't do nothing about the foreclosure process.
That's 3 years,
fine.
period.
But what I'm saying is, why are you adding another year, sometimes 2, sometimes longer? You look at some properties in the land bank, and you like, how long they owned it? And it'd be like, oh, we had it for 4 years, and it's been vacant for 10. Why do we have properties vacant for 10 years when we got a shortage of housing?
So hold on, I'm missing. So all right, what part? So what part do you think that they can improve on?
They can improve on the process. Like, man, if you give me a bunch of Jordans and I know it's a demand for these, why would I sit on them for 2 years?
Okay.
Right? I'm going to put them on the market and let the market, and if it's solving a problem, housing is a problem, they're going through they have to streamline that.
You're not
and make
solving
it
a
quicker.
problem by creating another problem. This is my opinion, right?
All right.
So the issue is that the individuals that's buying these houses on land bank or
Right.
through the tax sale, a lot of times don't know what the fuck they doing.
No, I'm not talking about.
But hold on, but listen, but
Okay.
that's part of the problem. No, because that's part of the issue, right? So the part of the issue is that the city feels like they're protecting the end because you got so many people
Right.
that buy a house on tax sale or through other methods,
Right.
And then find out that it was on a demo list, and now the city is on the news, and who getting the bad press?
I get that. I'm not saying that I'm not saying the process is wrong. I'm just saying it's too long.
I got you.
For the market that we're in now.
So how can we? So
we were talking about we need to first we were talking about the bubble and we talked about the supply and demand. We talked about building homes. We talked about the government stepping in and building affordable houses, whatever,
Which I don't agree
right?
with.
Right. There's enough money in the market to buy the inventory that the government entities already have. Like, look at every time our board talk to the land bank, I'm like, just look at what HUD is doing. HUD is federal. HUD don't even, I used to get like 30 listings a week from HUD.
But HUD don't have the amount of houses, the inventory that the cities have.
HUD will have like 7,000.
The problem too is a lot of people don't want those houses.
But tear those down. But what I'm saying is, HUD has similar issues. All of them banks.
So you're saying tear them down and rebuild?
Tear them down and rebuild. But people don't
want the location that the land bank houses are available in.
At some point they will, because where are they gonna go?
Exactly.
They can't afford nothing else.
But it's a double-ended issue.
Yes.
Right.
Meaning you're going to create a new problem to solve the problem. I want to hear hear what his what he thinks the potential solution is. First
of all, I'm not talking about the qualification and the process is one thing.
So you got
what I'm saying is the streamline it to get it to the market, to the people that actually qualify for them, that want them, is still such a long process. HUD didn't have homes that set 4 or 5 years on the market. They were like, oh, we got this property back from the bank, we insured it. How soon can we get the appraiser out there, make sure it's safe, secure, so we can show it and sell it?
So let's be clear about how HUD houses, the difference between HUD houses and land bank houses is what?
I understand. They're technically foreclosures, but HUD,
on mortgages, which don't take 3 years, right?
Right.
6 months
but I'm saying,
to a year.
Okay, you got 6 months here, you got 3 years on this one. Once you get it to this entity, you get it to this entity. This entity, HUD, for example, they like, okay, within 6 months we need to have this on the market. This entity is another 2-3 years.
So let's do this
before they get it to the market.
Let's do this.
I'm not talking about the buyer.
Let's do a step by step. Okay. So all right, you stop paying your taxes.
Right.
2000. So we're in 2022. So you stop paying 2017.
Yep.
17, 18, 18, 19, 20, 19, 20, and 21.
Yep.
So in 2019, you stop paying. So you just not going into foreclosure this year of March. Actually, they so for homeowners, they didn't let them go. But if you're an investor, right, you
let's just say through the 3 years.
3 years.
Right.
Okay.
If we go to tax sale, I'm not worried about the tax sale because the county like, hey, take it and sell it.
Get it out of here.
It ain't no qualification.
He's going to land bank.
I'm talking about land bank.
Okay. So then it went to land bank after the 3 years.
Right.
Now what's next?
But hold on, isn't the process before that it has to go to the county or whatever?
No, so they give the land bank a choice of what they want.
Yeah, you get to choose first right of refusal.
But it's whatever doesn't sell during the tax sale.
Not all the time. Sometimes
first right of refusal. You get to decide. You remember the houses that I used to rehab a lot of houses down in Taylor, in Downriver period. So the way he was getting those houses, the cities have first right of refusal, so they can say, you know what, we keeping these houses. We're not sending them to the tax sale or wherever. They're not going to the tax sale. We're keeping these. And we get to decide what's going to happen with those. So this developer at that point in time, he made a deal with the mayors of the cities that they wasn't necessarily, I think this was a good program. They just messed it up, right? But he would go and with his thing, he's going to rehab the houses to tip-top shape and then sell them, which was helping their tax money. You know what I mean?
Getting them money. Stabilizing the community.
So this is our first right of refusal. So it's a little bit different. So,
no, but you're saying, so you're still missing what I'm saying. I'm saying, regardless of the first, okay, these houses come in, the city keep what they want, these go to tax sale, and then the houses that don't get sold at tax sale, they go back again to the second sale, and then after the second sale, then they go to.
But some of them don't even go to the county. Some of them go directly. What I'm saying
talking about the first right of refusal.
See, we getting
the
caught
reason
up.
why I'm spending time there is because it's helping your timeline. You're asking why is it taking so long?
Yeah, but he's not talking about those. He's not talking about
here's the thing. I don't care if the foreclosure is 3 years or 6 months. I'm saying the entity that's in charge of selling it, once it comes into their hands, some cities, some counties, and because there's county land bank, city land bank. Detroit is one of the only cities that has its own land bank. So you have county, state, and then you have city. Then you have other entities, HUD, Fannie Mae, whatever. when all of these entities get the property in their hand, regardless of
how long it took.
or however long it took for it to get to them, all of them have a different outcome as to how soon they're putting that property back out into the market. So what I'm saying is, if the process is going to take you 2 years to put it back to market because you're short-staffed, you don't have the title staff, you third party into all the different title companies, then you get it back, then you got to wait a month to meet, to look over the title to see which ones you can put on the market, then you got a clear title. When you don't have the capability to put this house back on the market while it's still worth buying, then that's going to make the house not available for a year or two. Now, you got a property that nobody want or nobody can qualify for because they don't have the money to fix it up. When 2 years ago, it was still salvageable. Now people could buy it. So all I'm saying is, most governments in these major cities, Chicago got the same issue, they don't necessarily need to build as much or create affordable housing. They need to fix that problem that they have with getting these properties back to the general market sooner, because there are a surplus of buyers that qualify. I'm not saying change the qualification process. I'm saying just make it easier. Yeah, to get them in front of people to actually buy them. Some people are willing to wait 6 months. Some people are willing to wait 3 months. Because they're going to be 3 months in the market before they find something they like anyway.
So, in order to do that, you're saying that so the reason you're saying that the issue is they're short-staffed. So many houses, especially in the city of Detroit, there's so many houses with few people working those houses, making the decisions, right? So your solution is to hire an outside title company.
They do that anyway.
Yeah, that's what
I'm saying. Like they should just send it to the title company and tell the title company, send us back with the issues, we'll clear it, and then we'll go from there. They should send all the houses to a realtor once they clear it. Hey, list these properties. We're not going to pick and choose which ones go here, which ones go on the auction site. Send it out. We need these properties promoted to as many people as possible. Then all the land bank need to do is qualify the people. You see what I'm saying? So, because here's the thing. Some cities got similar programs. They don't have them issues.
Because they don't got as many houses.
It don't matter. What I'm saying is, if you got 100 houses one day or you got 10 one day, the process should still roll the same. Now, it would be slower because you got 100. But what I'm saying is, the slower the program is and you still getting houses, it's just going to keep getting worse.
So I feel like their process is the same as the other cities. The difference is that the other cities have 10 houses and they got thousands of houses. So the process is definitely going to take longer because people have to. This is the real issue. The issue is that you can't take this lightly, because the people who will lose in these situations are the people that are not in the know. People who don't, these are the people that would be taken advantage of in that situation. People buying land bank houses, not understanding what it's going to take to fully rehab that house, period, right? And not understanding, not understanding, not having the relationships. Bro, you know how many bad contractors it is out here?
I understand that, but people have bad contractors when they buy a regular house on the market.
I don't think, I think if it wasn't so much inventory of rehab homes.
Right.
So when it does dry up a little bit, bad contractors are going to go away or going to become less, because now the good contractors are going to be coming to fight for those jobs. I think that they're running away. Like, I run away from certain jobs. If I see, we got some stuff that I'm like, bro, I'm not touching that. I don't want to touch. That's hard work.
But I think you're missing what I'm saying, because we were talking about the whole bubble and supply and demand. All I'm saying is, you got pent-up demand, you got low supply, but then you got entities, and I'm not just picking on the land bank. They do a great job.
But they're the main one, though.
Well, no, I'm just saying they do a great job. The program is perfect. I'm saying the process to get the homes to the market in the current market that we're in, it can be streamlined and so much quicker. But when we talked to them one time with the board, one of the comments was, well, how would you get paid? No, we wasn't even, for one, this was like 2 years ago. We was like, to be honest, there's really no such thing as a $10,000 house anymore. They was happy. They was closing 20 houses a month. And I'm like, you take 5 realtors in my office, we closing more than that. Your process is just too slow.
Right? But you didn't answer my question.
Right.
What in the process? Where can that's what we were trying to go step by step. I want to hear where in the process do you feel like they can improve
The process has it needs to be expedited on getting the property to the market. Whatever that gap is from the time it gets into their hand to the time it gets on the market.
And what's normally causing that?
It's a lot of things. Sometimes it's title delays.
But you can't improve. You're not going to make that no faster because they're already using the outside title company.
There's probably some things they can do, but it's like you got to go through so much. And then, like when Gene said, once they get the contracts, then they got to send it to city council and it's to review it. It really should be like some streamlined
a special
system.
Committee. It's okay. Let's say they put a special committee together that only deals with this.
We review these contracts daily, not the next time city council meet.
Got you.
You see what I'm saying?
So here's the problem with that.
Remember he said like if you go under contract under a certain time of year, you gotta wait until they come back from vacation. Like in the meantime, the house sitting there, it might get burnt down.
So how those people get paid?
Man, listen. If they bragging about selling a house for $4,000 or $5,000, we know could have sold on the market for $20,000. What are you talking about getting paid?
So the house could have sold on the market. I got so many people that the house I just was telling you about, people that's buying these houses from the land bank. I'm talking about these are experienced people too.
You talking about the people that's doing it wrong. I'm talking about the people
they regular people that's buying it.
No,
but
you
it doesn't have anything to. What you're talking about has nothing to do with the people behind it.
Well, no,
it doesn't have nothing to do with the. No, it doesn't.
No. Let me say this. Let me say this. I want you to go back to every land bank property that you can think of that somebody brought or was trying to buy. I want you to go back to the date when the land bank got it. I'm for real. Come back, tell me the year.
Well, we just talked about it. So it's when land bank got it, and then land bank had to go back and do title or whatever they had to do.
No, I want you. We don't even have to discuss it. Next episode, bring me 3 or 4 land bank properties that was on the market, whether in 2022 or 2021. Tell me the date it transferred title to the land bank.
Okay.
Y'all went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
no, we didn't. No, we didn't. Because we were talking about. No, this was important because I mean, actually, we damn near need to have a whole episode about this. I would love to do that because I want to hear.
That's all I need.
I just don't think it had anything to do with the end buyer because that stuff. So it's just like how we sell houses right now. Right. I can take a house and list it, and while it's listed and being marketed, all these different things can be in process and taking place. Vetting the buyer, making sure they're approved, making sure the title is right. To checking all the blight tickets, getting someone over there to do some landscaping or something. But anyways,
I know how we got there. Somebody mentioned government. Somebody mentioned the government, and I got mad.
Did y'all watch Gone in 60 Seconds?
Yeah.
No, hold on. What you said you made a statement though. You said that you don't think it has anything to do with the end buyer. It has everything to do with the end buyer. That's the issue.
Okay. So, are we in the bubble or are we not in the bubble?
We not in the bubble.
Are we in the bubble?
We are not in the bubble.
Okay.
We're in.
I never thought we was in the bubble, per se, because I've been a big proponent of all this cash being invested into the market since day one. It just helps me to be stable in my belief. But we'll talk about it some more.
We're a little overinflated, but we ain't in no bubble.
I don't even know if we overinflated, but I hear you though. It's higher.
It won't go pop.
Right. Barely, right? Because it's very little hot air in
Remember
there.
that conversation we was having? It was like, oh yeah, Jonnita and Reggie be.
No, we had a real subject though.
In the pudding.
No, because we're not just talking BS. That's a real. I mean, that's our whole. That's our whole. We need to have a whole episode on that.
I don't want to have an episode. I just want you to.
No, we bringing somebody in from Detroit Land Bank. I think my girl Tawana.
We just need 4 or 5 properties that were on the market with the land bank go back in PRD and see what year the land bank acquired them, and look at that gap of time and what can happen to a property in that gap of time. All I'm saying is they need, in this market that we're in, they need to shorten that gap because it's probably 20 buyers for that one house.
I hear you, but that you haven't answered the question. How do you shorten that gap? We can't just say how you can't just say like hurry it up.
I just listed the name, or like before when I was wrapping it up, I listed a list of things that could happen to shorten that gap.
Tell me one.
Go ahead and get the marketing started while the title is being processed. While the buyer is being vetted. Wow.
The marketing? What do you mean?
So he's talking about
city council
the time it's taking for it to hit the market. You don't have to do everything in the front. You can do some things in the process.
Like what? Because you can't if you
clearing
can't
the title.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. So everybody, you got. I mean, that's why we need to have a whole episode because you can't just put the house on the market that you don't even know if it's yours. It's not necessarily there. That's why they got a quiet title.
They know it's theirs.
No, they don't. It's not 100% theirs. So that's why they have to go through the process of quieting the title.
But this is what I'm saying. They have to make sure. They don't do that on everyone. Some of them they do quick claim deeds, just like the county tax sale. What I'm saying is, when you start adding the city council approval, you got too many hands that need to touch this before it go to market, too many hands to touch it before it close. They just need maybe the committee.
Boom.
This is the committee that approves the sale, and we put it out there and say this house is to be sold subject to us clearing title. It could take 3 to 6 months. Then the buyer says, fine, I'm going to wait, or no, I'm not touching it, and fine. There's plenty of other buyers that will. Oh, we've ran into this issue. Do you want to wait? Do you not want to wait? If they don't want to wait, we hold off. We go clear title and we finish. If you want to wait, fine. We keep going.
Cool.
It happens on the regular market anyway.
How do you pay these people on this committee making these
because when
decisions?
it gets to a general market and the process is quicker, they're going to make more money.
We're assuming. These are all assumptions. This is not factually speaking.
I know for a fact.
So these people that you're talking about, first of all, you got to put together a committee of people that are knowledgeable.
I know for a fact.
Knowledgeable people don't have a lot of time.
I know for a fact.
So realtors and title people already wait to be paid anyway.
Listen. We met with the land bank 3 times, did 3 different proposals, asked the board.
Would you get on that board? Would you go on there and they said you're gonna be part of the people in the city of Detroit or whatever city?
We gave them proposals. We gave them proposals showing them a setup like HUD. We showed them the streamlining, all of this. The reality of it is most of the people that work at the land bank, they keep their jobs because they have a problem. They keep having properties. The more properties they got, if they got 10 properties, they got jobs. If those 10 properties get sold tomorrow,
they can get laid off.
We could have sold through their inventory in 1 year as realtors. They're like, the land bank, we sold.
Hey, y'all ever heard of like speeding through a process? So you can, if you don't properly research. No, but you can't argue this. This is a fact, because you're saying that you could have sold through their inventory in 1 year, and then I don't know how many lawsuits or court cases you would have created in that 1 year by selling all those properties off so fast. So even though you think you solved the problem, you created another one because people are going to be buying these houses that like they just were doing. People buying homes from land bank or tax sale that were on the demo list and getting bad. Now it's a problem.
I get that, but what I'm saying
that's one example.
That's the big one.
No, I get that. You mixing the process with me saying improve the timing of the process.
That's part of the right. So part of the timing is doing due diligence.
Okay, how many houses can you rehab at once? How many projects can you take?
Sheesh.
I'm talking about full gut job, roof to basement.
Bruh.
How many do you just think do you want? No, I'm just using an example.
No.
How many with your crew that you got? With your crew that you got,
at a time,
I've seen 17.
We've done like 8.
I'm talking about full gut jobs.
I'm talking about shitty houses.
What are y'all talking about? Look here.
I need
Miguel, it's a wrap.
Okay.
I thought we wrapped already.
No, go ahead.
Okay.